Hej, jag heter Mikael Åkerfeldt. Lars Mikael Åkerfeldt, spelar ett band som heter Opeth. Och du tittar på Domination TV. There were some older guys in the street where I grew up in, where I lived, who were heavy metal fans basically, and I thought those guys were like cool. I wanted to be like them, and the first drummer for Opeth, he had his big brother was a metalhead, and he had like big posters in his room, like Ozzy Osbourne, Speak of the Devil poster. He had like a skull, and he had, snus, doser, like a pyramid of empty, beer cans, porn magazines, lots of metal records, and it's like, I don't know, it's just something about that. Just thought they were cool, and that's how I heard about like Judas Priest and Iron Maiden and Ozzy and all those bands, Black Sabbath, So I was early on a fan of music, and it just happened to be right for me, and all my friends I grew up with were into metal. No, I was a pretty calm kid. I didn't really do wild things like that. My parents didn't allow me to look like a metal guy. I didn't have any T-shirts. They never bought me a T-shirt or anything, or like studs and stuff. But I got from some of the older guys, because once I started listening to metal, they were like providing stuff for me, giving me records, loaning me records, and giving me posters and scarves and that kind of stuff, and T-shirts. Actually, I got a long sleeve Motorhead Ace of Spades shirt. That was basically the only one I had when I was a kid, and I was pestering my parents to get more patches and that kind of stuff. And I remember they bought me for Christmas, I got a back patch for my jeans jacket, but it was a David Bowie back patch. Early on, the first show I ever saw was Carola. Do you know her?
Very metal.
Yeah. It was right after Främling. Vad väljer du för mig? And then I went to see, it was almost like a show, even though it was playback. The older kids that I talked about, they dressed up as Kiss and had a playback concert in the garage. And they sold popcorn and lemonade and that kind of stuff. And everybody was there, all my friends were there. We felt like we were watching those guys, and it was just like it was the real Kiss. So they played the whole Alive album, miming to it, and we were like, yeah. So that was like a show, even though it wasn't. But the first real one was Carola, and then I went to I think Dio was Dream Evil, I think it was. I remember I waited outside the Sheraton Hotel in Stockholm waiting for Judas Priest on the Ram It Down tour, 87. And they actually came out, but I was on my skateboard, and I got their autographs, that was it. I just remember Rob Halford said, "See you later," said, because the show was later that night. "See you later." That was it. Yeah.
She told me why. She told me lies.
Yeah, it changed, but I can still get that fuzzy, warm feeling about heavy metal. Sometimes I feel I love heavy metal, but that's it's a nostalgia, I think, for me. When I see, when I bought what's it called, the early years, I think it's called, Iron Maiden DVD, which is fucking great. Something I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it has interviews and clips, live stuff from the 80s with them. And I watched it, and I was like, I love this. I love it, But now I think metal is contemporary metal. I'm not interested in. I don't even think it's metal, if you know what I mean. Why? No, because it's not. It's bloodless, and it's chicken shit. You know, it's. I'm not saying we're like, oh, it's Opeth is don't, you know, not at all. It's just that metal used to be like a rebellious form of music, I think, you know. And for me, that means kind of going your own way, doing what you want to do, and not pleasing somebody else, if you know what I mean. And I think many of the metal bands of today, they seem to be afraid to experiment. So they're stuck in some kind of route, and in the end, they don't even like what they're doing themselves. It seems, you know.